Wow, Lubie, I'm happy that you took this into consideration because I was thinking you would be the hardest guy to move off of this mark. We discussed this briefly yesterday. I'm looking at my alarm clock every morning and thinking, why is this set for 5:30? This is the age of streaming. We're just clinging to an old concept here about morning drive radio that is no longer relevant. People don't even go to work anymore. Now, that was one of the few, if you can take positives away from the COVID-19 period of time, that was one thing, this change, transformation, where there wasn't so much pressure on you to get up in the morning, go flying out of the house, get immersed into just hideous traffic, get all nerved out about driving to work, and by the time you get there, you're a schwitzing, psychotic mess. And then right away, the boss starts screaming at you about something you didn't do correctly yesterday, and you just have a miserable day. Here you have a cup of coffee, you pet the dog, maybe even take it for a walk, like you were doing. And you say, wow, life is good.
The time! Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Very pleasant good morning, everybody. Great to be with you on today's edition of the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, we got Mike Lubie Lubitz, and we'll be with you, as mentioned in an opening clip there, the new time, of course, 8 until 9:45. For the show, we'll have a trivia challenge for you trivia maniacs out there. Lenny, the Chronic, and all the other great people that have been participating for the last couple of years in our streaming version of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Welcome to join us here at 954-417-0070. I remember the number. We haven't done this for a few weeks.
Good job.
954-417-0070. I get, every now and then you get some text and it comes from a number that you don't have an identification with, but you look at the number and you go, well, where do I recognize that number from, Louis? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes.
And it turns out to be like an ex that you haven't had contact with for years. Out of nowhere, just find some reason to get a hold of you. Hey, I heard so-and-so checked out. Tell him I'm sorry. And you're thinking, wow, I was trying to place that number and I couldn't quite do it, but able to give you the number for the trivia challenge. Dave Gurgles Gurgle going to join us in about 15 minutes here on the show. Always does a fantastic job. It's always good having Gurgles on the show. 954-417-0070. That'll be for the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We have the Landlubber's gift certificate we give away. Of course, Lubie will be there later on tonight with what many people consider that do the trivia traveling circuit, the players anyway, consider it to be the best version of live trivia that you will find anywhere, and it takes place at Landlubbers, and we're very proud of Mike Lubie Lubitz teaming up with the professor, who is of a very high intellectual variety. And so, his questions tend to be very challenging, and he doesn't have a whole lot of tolerance for stupidity, the professor. Have you noticed that? It really doesn't. Good morning, Rosalina, man. You know what? It makes me feel good to know that Rosalina is on board with us and all of the good people that have followed us now to this new time. I don't know. Do you think we've lost a lot of viewership, listenership as a result of the new time, or what was it? Was it at 0.0 anyway?
Exactly.
We at ground zero. I don't know.
9 o'clock on is interesting right now, but we'll see. It'll grow. I mean, people just got used to tuning out at 9, so
yeah,
we get more people to come on.
All right, we'll see what happens. For us, it's it hasn't made that much difference, except you're laying in bed longer. But my dog Skippy, who wakes me up every morning, still at 5 o'clock, has not realized that we've done the time change. I was yelling at him this morning. I said, "Skippy, don't start till 8 now." He just looked at me and said, did you eat all of that roast beef last night, Defo? Or is there going to be a chunk in my bowl as I get this day started? All right, we begin with this, and man, some big blockbuster sports stories impacting the South Florida area as we have become the epicenter of the sporting world. We had 3 things working last night, including the Damian Lillard trade to the Milwaukee Bucks. Also, the Mets and Marlins were in a doubleheader. The Marlins, actually, by splitting that doubleheader and seeing the Cubs lose in Atlanta, ended up now in a dead heat for the third wildcard spot with 4 games left to go in the season. The Marlins have another one today against the Mets, at Citi Field in New York, and then move on to Pittsburgh, where the Pirates, fortunately, I mean, I hate to say this, but I'm very happy that our friend Kat won the $13,500 when Brooks Robinson checked out.
Because you stuck her.
Well, I can finally do away with these tickets, which that's the problem. Everybody's betting online. Nobody has to send somebody to a bookie anymore, or in this case, to some casino to make a bet. That is a thing of the distant past, is it not, Mike Lubitz? Where you would find out one of your friends was going to Las Vegas, maybe sometime in August or July, and you're thinking, "Geez, I'd really like to bet the Dolphins to go over 9 wins this year." So hey Lou, I'll get you to 100 as soon as you get back, which is always prohibitive
Yeah, exactly.
at best. You don't want to be laying out the money. And now with Zelle, it's pretty hard to dodge a guy when you owe somebody money.
Exactly.
Can you Zelle me the money? I don't have Zelle.
I don't know how to do Zelle.
How come it's the guy that owes the money that doesn't know how to do Zelle or doesn't have access to these sort of payment methods, which are now immediate? And it takes all of the anxiety out of the whole idea that you're going to lose a friend over the fact that he owes you money or she owes you money. In this case, it used to be fairly common, right? You said you were going to Las Vegas or some destination where they actually had legalized sports wagering. You were living here in Florida, where we exist in the Stone Age. Even today, we don't know what's happening with that. Still have no idea. I mean, it was rumored a couple of weeks ago. Oh, yeah, it's here.
And then you've heard nothing.
Yeah, I mean, silence of the lambs, my friend. I mean, absolute El Zippo going on here. So that was a fairly common practice, and I always hated it because I hate laying out money for people. Number one, and number two, that you don't want to be responsible for their losing bets.
Exactly.
Maybe you put the bet in wrong. They didn't indicate it to you correctly, especially when you're dealing with somebody who's not, especially familiar. How many especiallys did I use in there too? But when somebody is not familiar with betting vernacular, so they explain the bet to you one way, and then you understand it a different way because you're used to this sort of thing, and you're thinking, oh yeah, she wants 50 on this and 50 on that, and then it turns out when you show them the tickets, they go, no, I don't want that. So what are you going to do? Go back to Las Vegas? It's listen, lady, you're stuck with this. That's the way it's going to go. Don't ask me. I try never to answer the phone. For those kind of calls when I anticipate them coming. It's the same thing like a guy asking you if you can squeeze you 20 at the track. No, it's like, yeah, I can squeeze you at 20, but guess what? I'm not going to do it because my simple rule of thumb has always been very basic. When you're going to any kind of betting adventure, any kind of betting enterprise, bring your own money. Now, there are times where you're going to be tapped out. Maybe you've had a bad session. Your friend is winning a fortune, and he says, hey, listen, you need a stick Defo, whatever. That's always very gracious, very gratuitous of the person that happens to be having a good day. And it's nice. And it's always great when it's reciprocated once in a while. If you happen to be the one that wins a bunch of money and you say, yeah, here, Lubie, here's a couple of hundred, man. Even though you didn't do anything, I'm glad you were standing here. One time you're hoping maybe they win and take care of you in a situation like that. Friends have those kind of relationships. But I bought these tickets on the Pirates, and I haven't seen the Catwoman since where I was in a situation where I could give her the tickets.
Mm.
So now your big fear is that you're going to lose the tickets because those two $50 bets, if they had come in, were worth a total of $15,000.
Oh my God.
So who wants to be responsible for this, right? I mean, I have a Powerball ticket here that I got last night, and it could easily get lost. I mean, I didn't win, but nonetheless, I'm collecting a couple of bucks, whatever. I think I had the Powerball on one or two lines. So what is that worth?
Nice.
Like $4? Nothing, right? $2 a shot. What a ripoff those minor payoffs are on the Powerball and the lottery. You ever notice that? I mean, it's one thing you go win, place, and show. So the horse will pay $8 to win. Maybe it pays $4.80 to place and $3.60 to show. All right, so you're still, if you had it to show, you're almost getting all of your money back.
Mm-hmm.
Powerball, a near impossible wager, 292 million to 1 odds, and if you don't hit it, you have I don't know what the odds are on just hitting 5 of the numbers instead of the 6. It has to be somewhere in the 100 million range, maybe a little bit less than that, but nonetheless, an overwhelming odds against you, and yet it only pays, even that only pays $1 million. But when you get down to having a Powerball, which is still a long shot, right? You have a 1 in, is it 69 chance of hitting the Powerball, and if you hit it, you only get $2.
Yeah.
So, how much money are they siphoning off? Is any of that really going to education, Mike Lubie Lubitz? Do you believe that this money is going to a good cause? Or is it
One-
all just going to Senator Bob Menendez in New Jersey?
exactly.
That was one of the best excuses I've ever heard when the guy said that it was because of his Cuban heritage that he decided to stockpile money in a closet somewhere in a shoebox because he was worried that the government was going to seize his assets, which they now are about to do there, Bobby boy.
When you're a
I think they
criminal,
have their
yes.
clutches on all of that. His wife was dressed in some kind of, outfit like she was going to a nightclub and not to, federal court. Not sure that matters, right? I mean, people would say, yeah, well, what about your man, John Fetterman there out of Pennsylvania? And you think, well, all right, that's the new dress standard in the Senate. That would be fine. I mean, I don't care if the guy dresses like a clown as long as he's doing the right thing, which is where we wanted to start today, just with a brief commentary on last night's Republican debate. What is the point of this, by the way?
Oh, God. I
Came on 11 o'clock Eastern time. They were out in California. I guess they got underway at 8 in the Simi Valley. Everybody's there except for Donnie Boy himself, who was in front. I mean, you talk about how great of a con man is this guy? I mean, he makes John Lovitz with that character. Oh, yeah, that's the ticket. He makes that guy look like he was just as straightforward as anybody could ever be. You had a clip of Trump being played on a couple of the news outlets yesterday. Going back, they dug this up where he was talking about unions and how he hated unions. That unions eventually will be and lead to the demise of the American economy because first they ask you for 2%, then they want 3%. The next thing you know, they're taking over the company. And, the entrepreneur who put this whole thing together, who really deserves all of the bulk of the profits, he's out of business and he doesn't want to have a job anymore himself. Doesn't want to even run the company anymore. That was his opinion. Then yesterday, of course, he's in Michigan going, you know what we need? Unions. What an asshole. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
What a piece of shit.
I mean, I would say, how do people not look at that and just say, wait a minute, a few years ago, this was his statement. He was steadfastly against this. And without any kind of explanation as to how he got a 180-degree turnaround, now because he's in front of these people, all of a sudden he shares their views and feels great empathy for them. And you know what? Joe Biden, what a phony, man, standing there on the picket line.
Yeah, he's been with the unions his entire career. Like, whatever. Nice.
Crazy stuff. But, I mean, it's sending the clowns with these people. Well, what is the point of it?
I don't know.
I would rather hear the two fat kids that are always sitting in the left field corner in a game that, there's inclement weather and there's only maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people in the stands. But the two fat kids are at Citi Field or used to be at Shea. And outside of Shea Stadium, they sold orange and blue vuvuzelas, which you would think that security would have been smart enough to intercept these and confiscate them before the kids actually got in. I mean, it's hard to hide a vuvuzela. Where do you hide it? In your pants? Nobody's going to believe that. Even John Holmes couldn't get in there and say, oh, no, that's not a vuvuzela.
Dingo did not have it like that.
Yeah, fucking Mandingo. Couldn't even get away with that one. Ken Norton. Somebody was telling me a Ken Norton story that, and it was, a very favorable, opinion about Ken Norton. What a nice guy that he actually was, having met him a couple of times. Gentleman at Marty the Party Sachs's birthday party said,
Oh, nice.
you know what? I met this guy. Couldn't be any nicer of a guy. So, we're happy about that, of course. Ferocious in the ring and got screwed a couple of times there against the great Muhammad Ali. Many people thought, that he won, certainly that fight in Yankee Stadium. That was very suspect. Ali got a lot of shaky decisions, but none of these guys are getting the nod. I mean, think about this: a guy that's up on 91 criminal indictments that just was convicted, or found, to be such an outrageous liar in terms of a fraud case, business wise, that the judge just said that this is so ridiculous. I've had it. I don't, was it a Trump appointed judge? Probably was. I'm not sure there was any bias there. When Trump starts talking about the witch hunt, I start thinking the witch should be WHICH, like which hunt is going to land this man in jail.
Exactly. Which one?
He was found, to be culpable in a sexual assault case from years ago with a woman that he denied even knowing, and yet he mistook her for his ex-wife in a picture. You can't be a bigger fucking clown. I mean, it's impossible. I don't care if the guy was putting the same set of credentials on an application to be a busboy at Denny's, he wouldn't get the job.
100%. That's what's funny is he's a used car salesman that wouldn't get a job as a used car salesman.
Yeah. I'd say, you know what? You're a little over the top here, Donnie. I mean, well, I don't know if we can have our reputation is bad enough
Exactly.
without putting a scoundrel like you there. And yet, runaway, well, winner of the GOP nomination.
Not even at the debates. He doesn't even do the debates.
Nothing. Doesn't even show up. And then I don't know if you saw this rambling speech that he was given the other day. It was on social media, and he was doing a question and answer with Trump supporters. So naturally, the questions weren't going to be overwhelmingly challenging, and this rambling nonsense that he was spewing out was so insane. They really were the ramblings of a madman. If you see this, Lubie, it's astonishing that anybody could look at that and go, you know what, that guy should be president of the United States, regardless of all the other shit that went on. I mean, if you just saw that question and answer thing, you would say this man is insane.
Yes.
Not a doddering old man, not senile, none of that. Insane. I mean, like criminally insane.
Crazy. He's 100% crazy.
Lunatic. Yeah. So all these guys, I mean, it really is. It'd be like listening to, let's say Chicago, instead of having the horn section, had a vuvuzela section. Just noise, endless stream of noise. Like many people might think this show is become, but it was just noise yesterday. There was nothing happening, and nobody's making any moves. Nobody's going to get ahead of the Trumpster. I can understand where you might be thinking that, yes, it'd be worthwhile to be the second choice here because there's a possibility, and I would think somewhat of a distinct possibility, although it doesn't look this way, that the guy gets shut down. And eventually they just say, hey, listen, he may even be found, guilty of criminal charges by the time they get around to actually naming a candidate for the presidency at the Republican convention. So, there would be some merit in trying to stand out in that crowd. But wow, what a bunch of bozos. This Ramaswamy guy or whatever his name is.
You want to talk about crazy?
He's a bigger lunatic than Trump, I think. I think I would rather have Donnie Boy in office than this guy. Unbelievable. So that was last night, and then I get a kick out of it because they line up like it was like an NFL pregame show on Sundays, and they had everybody but Boomer Esiason on the panel last night trying to figure out what it is that these guys said. What a futile endeavor to try to analyze who won the Republican candidate debate last night. How can you even dive into that with any seriousness when you're just looking at an outright clown show? You have Abbott and Costello routines that would make you a more firm believer that those two guys would be better equipped to be president than any of the people that were on the stage last night. My man Chris Christie would be the one guy out of there. I mean, he's suspect at best, right? But he can never win because he's fat. Isn't that something? I mean, at least he makes a little bit of sense from a Republican viewpoint to me. I don't know how effective he would be. The New Jersey people reelected him governor, right, in a sort of a landslide. That's a Democratic state. So you would have to think that he might have had something on the ball, although it seems like the people of New Jersey, as soon as you mention Chris Christie, it evokes immediate laughter. If you just wanted to get like a cheap laugh, Lubie, you're a stand-up comic and you're bombing and you just want to get a cheap laugh, you go, Chris Christie. That's the reaction that you get from the people in New Jersey, having just been there. All right. Have you ever been stiffed at the altar, Lubie? Or considered doing that to either of your wives? No?
No. You put a lot of money into both weddings.
Oh, I was the wedding. Yeah. Thought about not showing up a couple of times.
The first one didn't work out, but still we're going through with the goddamn it.
It's so deflating sometimes, though. Especially in affairs of the heart. I remember years ago, and I can base this. My chronology, usually is based on some kind of sporting event. In this case, it was the Chris Bird, Jameel McCline heavyweight championship fight, Madison Square Garden in New York. And I had met this woman that I was absolutely infatuated with. She, in my opinion, as beautiful a woman as I've ever dated in my life. We went out a few times before I went off on this trip. Everything was going great. It was all going in a positive direction. I thought for sure we had talked a zillion times during the few days that I was in New York City covering this fight. And the plan was that I was going to fly home that Sunday, and she was going to meet me almost immediately after. Like I was not even going to have time to change my clothes, comb my hair. I was going to go pretty much straight from the airport into this woman's arms, thinking that this was when we were going to consummate our relationship and have it take on a new level. And I couldn't have been any more excited. I get on a plane, and one thing you want to avoid in these kind of circumstances, I don't know, you probably haven't done this, Lubie, where you're flying somewhere and you're going immediately to an event where you need to look pretty decent. In other words, you don't want your hair to be turning into a plane head, which is what I experienced many, many times, where you're sort of sleeping on the window, and then one side of your head is flattened, your hair. So you really look like a douchebag. So I'm even trying to avoid getting plane head. I don't even fall asleep on the plane on the way home from New York. I get to the airport. I can't wait. Run to my car, schwitzen, and I race. I race home to call this particular woman. And when I call her, she doesn't answer, and then it turns out I never hear from her again. So deflating. I might have heard from her again, but I mean that particular night, I mean, I just felt like I was left at the altar. I really did, and we never did consummate the relationship in a sexual fashion. And I maybe saw her one more time, and that was it. Do you feel that way about this whole Damian Lillard thing, or is it just typical of the NBA that what seems like a veritable certainty never turns out to be the case? What did you think, Libby? I mean, how deflated are you? Are you set back? I mean, it's interesting because the rhetoric was, well, this was what absolutely was necessary to turn the Heat into a championship caliber club. And so they didn't make this transition. Now, are we going to go Zach Wilson style in this? And all of a sudden, Tyler Hero's great. We can't wait to watch him play again.
I'm not. I mean, I'm in the middle in the sense that I'm upset that they didn't get Damian Lillard. I'm upset that he went to the Bucks where he'll fit perfectly, and where I think where to me the Heat were equal, if not better than the Bucks, just because they looked like they were disjointed. Now the Bucks surge ahead of the Heat, so I'm annoyed by all that. I know there's a sentiment nationally that the Heat only offered. First of all, to me, even if they only offered Hero and 3 first rounders, that's actually still better than what they got. Like, that's the thing that, like, and the professor and I are debating because he has a hatred for Pat Riley that
he hates Pat Riley, the professor?
He hates him. And he'll say he doesn't, but he does. He hates Pat Riley. And he's allowed to. It's fine. Like, Riley has all this bluster, but the last decade has failed every time he's tried to make a move. He's failed. He has. And
he did get Jimmy Butler.
Well, that's the one thing that everyone magically forgets.
And people thought that wasn't such a great move, that Butler wasn't all that.
He got Butler, but he's failed. He failed to get Durant. He failed to get Beal. He failed to get Mitchell. And now he failed to get Lillard.
They won Harden also at some point?
No. Harden they could have gotten, and they chose not to, which I'm happy that they did. But the other now 4 guys, they failed, right? Well, to me, the other 3 are not the same as this. The Heat had a chance to get the other guys and didn't go all in, and I'm okay with it in the end because Durant has been sort of a head case. We've seen Beal is Mr. Injury, and Mitchell, what they would have had to give up to get Mitchell, I'm okay that they didn't go get Mitchell. I'm fine. This one, I'm sorry, we've heard reports for months that, and not from just, well, the Heat slanted reporters are so biased. No, nationally, even the national reporters that were really slanted against the Heat openly said Cronin wasn't working with the Heat. Okay, so to me, what can you do? Well, their offer was so low, he was pissed. Who gives a shit? It's a fucking negotiation. When in a negotiation, do you not go low at the beginning? When? Like they were supposed to offer their entire kit and caboodle at the beginning? Come on, that's a load of garbage. So to me, if that's
and you would think Pat Riley's a decent negotiator.
Yeah, like come on. Yeah. Well, no, that's the thing. Well, Riley is such a jerk off that he believed.
But he's pulled off big deals. I mean, he's pulled off the Shaq acquisition.
Yeah, of course.
He's I don't know, that kind of tumbled into place for him a little bit, but he still had to be a part of it with LeBron and the big 3. The acquisition of Alonzo Mourning it was no small feat. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but it was a big deal when he got Eddie Jones. These were significant moves, right? Tim Hardaway and that whole crew, that was all part of Riley, right?
He's done tons of moves. The thing is, recently, he hasn't been as successful, and there is a group out there that says, why doesn't he get slammed more? But you remember me, I was losing it for 3 straight years before they got Butler because it looked like they had no plan and they had nowhere to go. So it's not like people don't go after Riley. To me, to just go after Riley is a load of garbage. Like if you watch how this whole thing happened, If you really think the Heat's last offer was Tyler Hero and 3 firsts, you just hate Riley. As much as I'm biased my way, you're biased the other way. There's no way that the Heat, who talked about Damian Lillard for 3 fucking years, only offered that. There's no way. I'm sorry. If you just
even if they did, I think, like you said, I mean, when you look at it was a
what they
3-team
got.
deal. You had Milwaukee ends up with, and they had to deal Drew Holiday as part of the thing. Portland ends up with Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, who the Suns wanted to get rid of desperately.
Yes.
I don't know much about Tumani Kamara.
Never heard of him.
They get a first-round pick in 2029. That's not going to help right away. They get to swap pick rights in 28 and 30. The Suns end up with Jusset Nurkic. Doesn't that sound like a guy that would be introduced by, like, the avant-garde jazz musician John McLaughlin? And now, on synthesizer, Jusset Nurkic. Thank you. Sounds like a sax player, right? Peter
Nurkic
Lakeland.
has a massive deal, and he's always hurt. That was literally a guy
Yeah.
the Blazers want to get rid of that no one wanted.
They get your man Grayson Allen,
No, there you go.
Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. Wasn't Keon Johnson a decent player? I want to say for the Suns, Keon Johnson.
I don't know. I
Trying to
thought
picture if it's the guy that I'm picturing, then he was pretty good. Anyway, we'll get into that, and we'll have a lot of time to discuss that. The third event there for Jim Sarney, of course, was messy, and Jim was saying the tickets were going for like $6,000, and the guy didn't play.
But I thought he didn't even play. Yeah, I was gonna say
No.
I don't think Messi and Alba played.
It was suspect whether he was going to play. Imagine paying $6 to go see that shit.
Yeah,
A
you
regular MLS game without Messi in the lineup,
kidding?
and the Inter Miami CF went down 2-1 to the Houston Dynamo. Did you see who was in the stands there? I believe he's part owner, I guess, of the Houston Dynamo. The aforementioned James Harden.
Oh, really?
I think Harden owns a piece of the soccer team there in Houston. All right, let's get into the game here. We have Dave Gurgles Gurgling. He actually has a real job, so we want to get him in here and get him out on time to get out there to the golf course there in Miami Lakes. Gurgles, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. I enjoy this later time. That's I need my beauty sleep, as you can obviously tell. So
You look good.
Is this a permanent fixture or just this week?
No,
Permanent, yeah. We finally woke up after 2 years and we said, why the fuck are we
Beautiful.
doing this? Yeah. I mean, who are we trying to appease by being on at 7 o'clock in the morning? Except we were clinging to an old concept. It's like hanging on to an ex. It really is.
Sure.
And so we decided to condense everything. Actually, all of the stuff we do is now consolidated into a couple of hours instead of spread over 5 or 6. So it worked out really well. What have you been up to, Gurgs? Anything exciting in the Gurgles' life? Any pick fives, pick sixes?
Yeah, we got we're starting to get tournaments coming up. This Friday, I'll be at Doral working on a Memorial Classic for Mike Senna. And Monday, this would be in your line, a Martini Golf Classic up in Weston Hills for
Nice.
a charity up there. And then next Friday, we start our tournament season with B4 Pink for breast cancer, which is the one I started 25 years ago with Coach Shula for breast cancer with his wife Dorothy passing. When we first got on the air with you, and I started doing Beat the Broadcaster way back then, that's when Shula stacked his team with Marino and Dick
Yes.
Anderson.
I think
and
he had
I
Raymond
don't know
Floyd.
who else he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might have had
He
Greg
actually-
Norman on
Shula
that
actually-
team. Yeah.
Yeah, he did fly his helicopter in at the steakhouse, I remember. But yeah, all that's coming up. We need a little break from the rain. Our back nine today is closed, so people will be playing the front nine twice because we got quite a bit of rain out here. How was your trip to Atlantic City?
Oh, wonderful as always. I always have a good time there. I don't know that I would consider it the poor man's Vegas. It's really, it obviously has similarities to Vegas, where any casino would, but I just enjoy it. I really do. You kind of get out of the casino environment for a while. You can walk around. I mean, I haven't ventured into the ocean there yet, and actually we don't get to the boardwalk too often because we stay at Harrah's there, which is by the marina.
Right.
But just a beautiful little
Sure.
area. And the horse book, the only horse book in town is at the Borgata, which is walking distance. So we shuffle over there. I do anyway, while the Mustang is pounding a slot machine. So a lot of good food and drink, and always good people there. And Sportsbook was rocking. It was a lot of fun taking in the games in the Sportsbook. I made a couple of small wagers. I'm not a big sports bettor, but yeah, had a lot of fun. And people are sending it in, Gurgles. Like you can't believe
Yeah.
the amounts of money that are being wagered on these games, even with a relatively small book like they have at Harrah's. Have you been there? Have you been to Harrah's in Atlantic City since they put the sports
I've
book
been
in?
to Harrah's and the Borgata. And actually, when I went back to to Saratoga in August, I stopped in Allentown. There's a little place that's affiliated with Mohegan Sun called the Downs, and it's a dump for OTB. But the inside of it is this room for sports betting in Pennsylvania that's like a castle, and they're throwing it in, like you said. It's coming here. I hear
it's a lot of fun.
soon,
Yeah.
no?
What's that? Oh, sports
I
betting.
hear it's coming here very soon.
That's what they say. We were talking about that, touched on that earlier this morning. Nobody ever knows what the real plan is. It's kind of like trying to decipher what DeSantis had to say last night about various issues he was addressing there with his fellow Republicans, who all look like pillars of society that you couldn't wait. I mean, if they don't win the presidency, we would certainly love to see all of these people in some other governmental capacity of, high influence. All right, we're going to get into the game here, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. I know you're ready to go, Gergs, and Lubie's ready to take your telephone calls at 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. And we're going to come back in just a moment here with Dave Gurgly, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Hialeah Park going strong, by the way. Always green. Now, that's a well-run casino. That's the kind of place you really have great respect for the way that they handle virtually everything. And I hope they do get sports wagering, because Hialeah Park would be a great destination for it. And I believe in this cockamamie way that things are administered in the state of Florida, that they were part of the original equation there to have a sports betting opportunity for the people at Hialeah Park. They're going to handle that correctly, because they do everything right at Hialeah Park. It really is a great place, one of the best vibes you'll find in any kind of casino. Great food and drink, and casino food prices. Remember, you used to go and get the shrimp cocktail at the Circus for 99 cents. You'd go out of your way.
99 cents, steak and eggs, $2. Yeah, I remember that.
It was like $1.99, I think, at the Rio for a really good, steak and eggs breakfast. That's not the case anymore. Most casinos, you're getting clobbered on the food. You can fully expect to get creamed and pay a premium that is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 50% more than you would normally consider to be a high price for certain food items. Not at Hialeah Park. They want you to have a good time there. Go there, get one of those media noches and a cup of Cuban coffee, or any of the fine food that they have at the various restaurants. I mean, a wide variety of stuff is available to you, and all at really, really reasonable prices. It's just designed for you to have a good time. That's what they're all about at beautiful Hialeah Park. The machines pay off very generously. Steve Calibrate is kind of root of that name. The name is a root of calibration, and he's got those machines calibrated so you win. And we talked to him about it a couple of times, and he says, look, we want the people to be in there with a shot. Who wants to get ground to a nub? You put $100 in a machine, you get nothing. Maybe you get one cherry somewhere along the way. Forget about that. They want people to be able to have a good time, and all kinds of jackpots being paid off. So you'll love it. Hialeah Park. We recommend it wholeheartedly. Worth a drive, worth a little bit of a schlep if you're not in the area there. And you'll find that this is one of the great casinos anywhere in the country. So extremely well run by the terrific people at Hialeah Park. All right, coming back with the game. 954-417-0070. Dave Gurgly in the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge up next on the Defo Show in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 8:34. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home?
Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante, the Belmont's now a mile and an 8. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici, just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
That was great a couple of years ago when Panici, our man Luca Panici, was in the Belmont Stakes on Solo Volante, and in spite of that fine tribute, prefacing the coverage of the Belmont Stakes that we had that day, Polyman goes into an operatic version of Solo Volante, and then Solo Volante finishes rather distantly up the track. Unfortunate, but that's the way that went.
Last Thursday, I think. Well, I saw you guys one day. And I played a pick 5 at Gulfstream. In the third leg, there was a 4-horse race. And I left Luca, the only one out, at 5-1, the longest shot. He win. I had every other horse in the pick 5 with him, paid $2,500.
Oh, geez.
So never leave him out. Luca, he's a hard rider.
I think that might have been a Saturday. Well, was that a Saturday?
Maybe. It might have been. Yeah, $40 horse on one day, too. Yeah.
So. Luca Panici. No, I mean, anytime, my friend will call me, Francesco, who knows him very well, speaks to him all the time, and he'll say, Luca tell me he's on all pigs today. Right? And then Luca pop up and win 2 races, $27.4860. And you're like, what? And every now and then you'll get some Luca steam that is on the money there, right? Usually best at jockeys are best at touting horses that they don't themselves ride sometimes.
Right.
Where some a tip will come from a jockey and it's for a horse that's racing at another track. Those are usually, I find, more reliable than when the guy says, "Hey, you know what? Bet my horse today. You can't lose." Who's worse, trainers or jockeys, in your experience? Gargles as being, a kiss of death.
I think trainers. I think the best tips come from the exercise boys.
That could be, yeah. That's why you always see them running and doing that Nando finger snap as they're racing with the horse along the rail. Come on. It's great stuff. All right, let's get into the game here. 954-417-0070. Gurgles is going to ask a series of questions. You guys can join us if you want to play. We'll put the 2 highest point totals, the people that accomplish that, into the finals, and then we'll have a championship question, and somebody's going to walk away with a gift certificate to Landlubber Sports Bar. And that is a great, great place. Sunrise and Pine Island and Plantation, we're going to call it, right? A great food, a great drink opportunities, really good prices. I mean, family-oriented, and yet at the same time, you can go in there if you're a sports fan. They have everything all over the place, all of the games. Alex Sufrene, who owns the joint, really very particular and meticulous about this. And you get Lubie tonight, Lubie and the Professor. If you're in there tonight, you might be able to, if you're one of the locals, be able to pick up your gift certificate right there, which always is good for Lubie because it saves him a stamp. What are stamps these days? I can't remember the last time I put a stamp on a letter.
They're insane. They're ridiculous.
Really? Like, is it a buck yet to mail a letter? What is it?
No, it's like 51 cents a stamp or something like that, I think.
Stamp, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and one stamp is never good enough, right? You could put a tissue in an envelope and, they'll come back to you going, postage due, $6. All right, let's do it, Gurgles. Without further delay, the Polyman, of course, I'm going to give him credit for being an originator of the game here because, the guy just had like brilliant ideas. He really did. And, desperation being the mother of invention. We've told the story many times. This is a game that came about out of complete and total and utter desperation. So without further delay, in the honor of the Polyman, we have Gurgle starting out the game in the traditional fashion with some
easy baseball. This comedian, summing up America's pastime, said, They say nothing's more American than grabbing a hot dog, heading to the ballpark, and watching 9 guys from the Dominican Republic make magic on the field. What's that? Will Ferrell, Will Smith, Alfredo Smith Jr., or Junior Felix?
All right, Lubie, is the scrambler still working? Oh, good. You oiled it up. Nice. There's a random phone scrambler, and it lands on Lenny the Chronic. Lenny, how are you?
Hello, fellas.
Good morning.
I'm good. How's everybody?
Come on, Lenny.
I like the new time slot.
Yeah, so do we. I mean, we got the band back together here, which is good. All right, you have 1 point.
Now Lubie won't have to rush out of Landlubbers. Go a little
Still
slower.
will.
Imagine that. Yeah.
Lenny, tell me you didn't win last week. You didn't win last week, did you?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
We might have come
All right.
in. Yeah, I don't think we did good at all.
They were busy.
All right, you have 1 point. Here we go.
All right. Football, true or false? Former Packer, now Saint, Jimmy Graham, this past weekend, after catching a TD pass, made a mistake at taking a Lambeau leap into the Green Bay fans and ended up with his pants and jersey smeared with mustard from a Packers fan. True or false?
Wow.
Yeah. Why not? Let's go true.
True? No,
No.
made that up.
No.
Is Jimmy Graham
He
still
did the
playing?
jump, but there was no mustard.
Playing, yeah, he's still
Didn't he get arrested for something bizarre during, like the last month or two? Jimmy Graham?
maybe, I don't know.
All
He
right.
was-
All right. One going for 4 here. Good one, Gurgles.
Here we go.
Baseball, Lenny. This season, San Diego Padres are 0-12 in extra innings, matching the record set by this team in 1969. 0-12 in extra innings. The White Sox, the Cubs, the Phillies, or the Expos?
Let's go with Montreal Expos.
Wow.
Correct.
is correct.
Wow. I was going to
That
say the
is
Cubs.
correct. Well done.
Isn't that the year they fell completely
Oh, it
apart
was-
and the Mets passed them by?
It is, but they weren't 0-12 in extra innings that year.
All right.
All right,
Lenny
Lenny, I know
was
you're a
on
big
top of it,
football
though,
fan.
with the Spos. Yeah, 4 going for
Yeah.
9, Lenny.
I know you're a big football fan, Lenny. So, golf. Name the only player to end this weekend, is the Ryder Cup. Name the only player to end a Ryder Cup match with a hole-in-one.
Wow.
Was that Art Wall, Paul Casey, Seve Ballesteros, or Raymond Floyd?
Interesting.
Hole-in-one.
Can you repeat that?
Sure. Name the only player to end his Ryder Cup match with a hole-in-one. Art Wall, Paul Casey, Seve Ballesteros, or Raymond Floyd?
Let's go with Raymond Floyd.
That's what I would have said.
Had
We
to be
both
Art
would have been
Wall.
wrong. No, Paul Casey did it.
Paul Casey.
Paul
Okay.
Casey ended his match. with
Maybe
a
an
hole-in-one.
Chronics will hang around.
All right, not bad, Lenny. 4
Tough draw.
points. Tough draw there from Dave Gurgles Gurgley. Good call on the Montreal Expos. You can join us if you'd like to play the game. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Gurgles, have you been lighting up many Perdomos lately?
Yeah, last Friday I was at Doral for Immaculata LaSalle High School. Really nice group of people with a Perdomo cigar, hitting golf balls on the range, and my Perdomo sign there. And the guy said, "Man, Perdomo cigars, I love them. We sell them here. I'll see El Duque from the Yankees out here. He's one of our members there at Miami Lakes. He'll have a nice Perdomo cigar. If I see him, I'll give him one as well. And you can get them yourself at 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto, on the south side, just a little bit east of the Home Depot, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The number to call, of course, is 305-627-6700 for Perdomo Cigars. And again, they're a family operation. They've got 2 grandchildren now, God bless them. And they're open Monday through Friday. So Saturday, Sunday, you want a Perdomo cigar? Not a problem. Any tobacconist worth their salt should have a nice Perdomo cigar for you. If you're not sure, go online, perdomocigars.com. You don't have to go to the Maldives like I did, which is about 27 hours trip, but
Wow.
you can enjoy one right here in Miami. So this weekend, when the Dolphins eke out a win over Buffalo with a late field goal, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
A football prediction mixed in there. Lubie, are the Maldives, has that been
Way
targeted?
farther.
by
Oh,
you in
yeah,
the-
Maldives and Bali are 2 that are like pure vacation destination places that my wife wants to go to that. Hopefully that's far in the distance because 27 hours on a freaking.
Reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with the people that really helped me.
Okay.
And you want to get one of those overwater villas with an infinity pool. That's what we had. It's unbelievable. And there was 26 people on the whole island. All your meals are included. They give you electric bicycles to roam around, scuba diving, all that. It's a really great trip. You may want to.
Like it, yeah.
I'm talking with the folks from Sandals. They may come on the show one day. Do something closer first before you go all the way there.
That'd be nice.
Quite a schlep.
I'm down for Sandals.
Yeah, Sandals is good.
So make sure if they know you're coming, make sure there's no tsunami or anything like you did the poor people in Morocco.
I'll never forget checking into the Sandals in Exuma. Actually, I think it was when Lubie and I first got together on the radio, where we got sent down there on a trip. Although Lubie somehow got aced out because the assistant program director, our good friend Jerry Hester, somehow figured that, well, no need to send Lubie there, and took his trip. Not uncommon in that racket, but it was great. And we walked into the room, and I thought I'd never seen anything like it except in that scene in Leaving Las Vegas, when Nick Cage stocked that cheesy hotel room with, and the room was far from cheesy. It was very spectacular, but I mean, wall-to-wall booze, Gurgles. You're asking yourself, how can I possibly drink all this in the span of a weekend? It's almost impossible. And then you're just tempted to open, like a bottle of champagne here and take a sip, even though you have no desire to drink it.
Yeah, why not?
Just because it's there.
Exactly.
You have all kinds of stuff. Really, good accommodations, and they certainly take care of you when it comes to any kind of inebriant that you're looking for. And not the Sandals people so much, but there's always that one guy on the beach where you can get everything else that you need. All right, 954-417-0070. That's the number to call if you want to play the game. And why don't we dive into our next set of questions here with Dave Gurgles Gurgley.
Boxing. This trainer on an aging fighter, George Foreman, said, George has 3 speeds: slow, stop, and hey, wait a minute. What's that? Angelo Dundee, Major Dundee, Lee Majors, or Lee Corso?
Certainly miss the late, great Angelo Dundee. It was always fun hanging out with him here in South Florida and anywhere else. For that matter, we land on Mike. Mike is up next, defending champion. Mike, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Let's go A.
Good morning, Mike.
Right on the money, my friend. You have 1 point.
All right, baseball, Mike. We lost a really good one this week in Brooks Robinson. True or false about Brooks? Even though he had 19 gold gloves and was a leader in executing or starting a lot of triple plays, believe it or not, Mike, he also holds the career Major League Baseball record for hitting into triple plays. True or false?
I thought you were going to say errors.
I'll go true.
True.
Yeah.
Nice.
How many did he hit into?
Triple plays he hit into. Yeah.
4 triple plays.
19 gold gloves. Wow, amazing.
Wow. And these weren't like Little League triple plays, where
no.
Guy hits a looper and somehow it's badly misplayed, but a guy gets thrown out at the plate, and then the other 2 guys get caught in rundowns. No, that's interesting. Brooks Robinson. I don't know if you heard our friend Kat hit Brooks Robinson in a Deadpool and cashed. She had half of it, and it came to 13.5 for her share.
Wow.
13.5.
I know he was doing real well. He was doing well, and he was in some autograph session down here and fell, and that I think helped his demise. A few years back.
Never a good sign. Yeah.
Super guy though. From everybody I've talked to about him,
everybody liked him. Yeah, we were big Clete Boyer fans. We were talking about that. We thought Clete was a better defensive third baseman than Brooks Robinson, which seems absurd as you look at the overall collection of accolades and distinctions that went Brooks's way. All right, going for what? 4 points?
Going for 5.
5.
Got it. Going for 5. Yep.
Oh, he got that one.
All right. Yep. Another Ryder Cup question for you, Mike. Who is the only player in Ryder Cup history who had all 5 of his matches go to the distance of 18 holes? In other words, none of them ended early with somebody up 3-2.
Yeah.
Who's the only player to have all 5 matches go 18 holes in the Ryder Cup? Curtis Strange, Colin Morikawa, Neil Coles, or Sam Torrance?
C.
C.
No. No, it was not Neil Coles, as a matter of fact. It was the only guy, I think, to win U.S. Open back-to-back. Curtis Strange, as a matter of fact, did that.
Strange, man. All right, very good. Mike ends up with what, 4 or 5, Louie?
He has 2 now.
No,
This is 5 point.
He's gone for 7. This is his 5-point question.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's a 7 and take
You're much better early,
question,
I'll tell you. All right. All right,
Too
here we
much
go.
bitter herb at the last Seder.
Baseball. On this date in baseball history, 1991, this team set a record with 75 games pitched without one complete game.
Okay.
Was that the Yankees, the Mets, the White Sox, or the Cubs?
Cubs.
No, believe it or not,
Cubs.
it was the evil empire, the Yankees.
Oh, sorry, Mike. You may be in the finals, but bombs away for now.
All right, yeah, Mike makes an exit there with 2 points. All right, you can dial us up if you want to play. We'll play a few more here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge with Dave Gurgles Gurgley, 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. We mentioned Hialeah Park, and of course, when you go there, light up a Perdomo cigar, and we'll come back with more of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge in a moment here on the Defo Show with one Mike Lubie Lubitz. Now that.
Right here. These are from Hialeah Park.
Oh, look at that!
My beat the broadcaster hole. If you beat my shot on the green, we're giving you $20 in free play at Hialeah Park.
How great is that? It's unbelievable. All right, when are you lining up again with that, Gergs?
Tomorrow at Doral, Monday at Weston, and next
nice.
Friday right here.
Blue Monster, Doral?
No, it'll be the Tiger Red course.
The red course, all right. That was far more favorable when I was playing golf than trying to navigate your way around the Blue Monster. All right, back with more in a moment. Now that.
Time!
8:53.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously. Friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Can't fake caring. Women can sense this immediately. You don't really care. You didn't really want to do any of this.
We now return to the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show. We're immersed in and engaged in the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge on this fine Thursday with the great Dave Gurgles Gurgley. We got Mike Lubie Lubitz at the controls, taking your telephone calls at 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play. I'm Jeff DeForest, and we're giving away a gift certificate to Landlubbers, which is Pine Island and Sunrise in the beautiful city of Plantation, Florida. It's worth, you know what? It'd be worth flying in here, even if you won like from out of state. What would you say? Just to go ahead and redeem that $25 gift certificate at Landlubber's restaurant.
Go that far.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean,
here it's worth checking out. That's for sure, especially if you're a sports fan.
Yeah, you get a lot of food for $25.
Yeah,
and every day 11 to happy hour every day 11 to 7. All the college games, all the NFL games. That salmon teriyaki rice bowl blackened is wonderful tonight. The cheeseburger special. What a great place.
Yep, it's a nice vibe.
Kind of got burned a little bit on this one. Speaking of food and beverage, we always pack a couple of bottles of wine to go to Chef Vola's in Atlantic City because you bring your own booze, and we don't know of any local places where you can get wine of any kind of quality. You can pick up a bottle of Ripple down there, just off the boardwalk, but not easy to find something that would be commensurate, and we can ask Mike Mayo about this, to combine with the flavors and the, very succulent dishes that are available at Chef Fola's. So we bring a couple of bottles of wine, and it turns out it took Mustang's bag at Spirit Airlines over the limit, which they have lowered, by the way. It used to be 50 pounds, right? Now they go with the junior welterweight, like it's $1.40. Any pound over 40 pounds. So
Oh my God,
we're already off to begin with, and then we have these 2 bottles of wine in there, and we ended up we got tapped at the desk there for an extra $80. So I'm thinking, why don't we just buy like one bottle of Lafite Rothschild or something at that point and put it in? I mean, it turned out to be like a $200 bottle of wine by the time we got done paying off the freaks there at Spirit Airlines. But man, I mean, you talk about weight Nazis. I think they hire people that used to work in the distant past at Weight Watchers, right? Where you had to do that weigh in every week before you even sat down and with your shoes on. And you knew it was going to be ugly. I mean, the number was just going to start spinning out of control. But anyway, yeah, that
I
became
think some of those people that weigh the baggage are probably like some of the butchers in Brooklyn where they put their hand on the scale when they were weighing your cuts of beef.
It's like Mickey Rourke and the wrestler was behind the counter. It's unbelievable. All right, 954-417-0070 if you want to play the game, 954-417-0070. Let's get back into our game. We have the Chronic with 4 in the lead. And here's Dave Gurgly, our next set of questions.
Golf. This is a guy right after our own heart, Jeff. This living golf pro on life and finances recalled, I'm working as hard as I can to get my life and my cash to run out at the same time. If I can just die after lunch next Tuesday, everything would be perfect. What's that? Doug Sanders, George Sanders, Satch Sanders, or Satch Mo?
Very nice. Let's roll the random phone scrambler. Hey, look at that, man. And not only is he alive and well, but he's on the show here. Andy, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, guys. I'll go with Sanders.
Doug Sanders. I want to say that when they first started the senior tour, as it was known at the time, I was involved in some kind of charity golf scramble, and I believe I was paired up with Doug Sanders.
Huh.
There were two guys, Sanders, of that era. Doug was one, and who was the other? Because this guy, was just a complete joy to hang out with. A lot of fun, and he could still play, even though he was kind of an old buzzard by even the senior tour standards.
Oh yeah.
So that was my experience with the great Doug Sanders. All right, very good. You have 1 point, Andy, going for 2. I'm going to try and keep better track during this contestant here, Lubie. I'm sorry about
problem.
that.
We'll help you.
No.
I'm here. I know what's
Football,
going
Andy. Football, Andy. True or false? We're probably all sick of this. Although Taylor Swift was seen rooting for Travis Kelce on the Chiefs game this past Sunday, believe it or not, she grew up being an Eagles fan, growing up in West Reading, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that could be true.
I believe that to be true.
It is true.
All right, very good.
Yep.
Yeah.
West Reading, Pennsylvania, not far from where I grew up.
She
I
was
did
great,
get a
though.
kick out of the,
Go ahead.
oh, yeah, she was. I got a kick out of the shot during the Eagles game where they had Jason Kelce right next to the running back Swift, and they showed Kelce and Swift on the back of her jersey.
That was great.
That was good.
That's funny.
I liked the vulgar nature of her style of rooting for Travis Kelce. You would have thought it was like Joe Avizano. Remember that guy on the sidelines? He was a special teams coach for the Cowboys, and he was always cursing, and they always had a shot of him going, "What the fuck is going on out there?" That guy was great. He ended up coaching in the Arena Football League as a head coach, Joe Avizano, who I think checked out sometime back. All right, you now have 2. Going for 5.
1 for 5. Baseball, Andy. On this day, September 28th, 2003, the final game played at then Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium, and with the Phillies, you would expect it. They were defeated by the Atlanta Braves, the then Florida Marlins, Pittsburgh Pirates, or New York Mets.
2003, the last game of Veterans Stadium. I'll go with the Braves.
Bravos.
That's right.
And bravo.
Well done.
Wow. Good
Yes.
for you.
Andy on
Ace
And
the.
it was bittersweet for me because in 1970, I was at the first game ever in Veterans Stadium against the Montreal Expos on AstroTurf. They booed everybody on the Phillies. The only person they cheered was the Montreal Expos GM, who came in from right field on a dog sled. Yep, back in Veterans Stadium. That's how long ago that was. All right, well done, Andy.
The classic
5-1 for the sweep.
Phillies plus 130.
The classic
right,
Philly
Andy.
crowd, it was when they booed Darren Dalton's 2-year-old son on Father and Son game. On the Father and Son game, yeah. They booed the kid because he was hitting like 230. One of their heroes, right? They just turned on him and his family. Great reaction there in Philadelphia.
And there is always that great documentary on when they booed Santa Claus because that guy was a substitute. He was sitting on his stoop and they called him in to do it at the end. He wasn't even supposed to be there that day. Anyway.
The
Andy,
ugliness of the Michael Irvin thing. Yeah, here we go for the sweep.
Football, Andy, another one. Let's take you back on this date in history to 1969. And in 69, the Minnesota Vikings and their quarterback, Joe Kapp, he's the one that threw for 7 touchdown passes in a 52-14 win versus the Detroit Lions, the Tampa Bay Bucks, the Baltimore Colts, or the St. Louis Rams?
1969. There wasn't no Tampa Bay yet. So I'll go with Detroit.
No, it was the Baltimore Colts who would go on to win the Super Bowl that year. Oh, playing it versus the Jets. Losing.
The Jets beat them.
Well, you are leading, Andy, so stand by for some finals action, my friend.
Not bad, yeah. Andy in the lead, and the time is ticking away here in the fourth quarter. So we'll play at least one more, and you can dial us up if you want to be that person at 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. While Lubie puts that together one more time, let's hear it for Potomac Cigars, Dave Gargles-Gurley.
Yeah, we got them right here at Miami Lakes Golf Club. You can buy them from our beverage cart ladies or right in the pro shop for Almost Cigars. If you come out here to play golf and the course in great shape, once the rain stops here a little bit, we'll be getting ready to host a big tournament for breast cancer next Friday. We'll have Perdomo Cigars there, I'm sure, as well. And I'll have them all the time. And you can get them at 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto on the south side, a little bit east of the Home Depot. And they're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Walk in there. Nuvia is the new receptionist. She'll show you to the huge humidor that our buddy the Mad Dog built with his construction company. Say hello to Nick Jr. Nick Jr. is a brand new father. Their daughter's got a little baby as well. So the family's expanding, and the service and the cigars are terrific. And you want to get one Saturday or Sunday and you don't have a chance to get there Monday through Friday, not a problem. It's across the scroll, perdomocigars.com, to find a retailer near you that sells these great cigars. So today, tomorrow, when the Dolphins beat the Bills, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
All right, well done. We're ready for our final contestant of regulation time or the regular season, and getting set for the postseason and a championship round. But we have one more contestant to go, and so Dave Gurgles-Gurgly, fire off our last set of questions.
All right, golf. Another golf question. The Ryder Cup coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in just outside of Rome, as a matter of fact. It's
who are you betting on that? You got the U.S. or Europe? We never win in Europe. Yeah,
Europe.
They have some stiffs on the squad there, though. I'm not sure that.
Well, they do, but they just have a sense of team that we don't have, and I think Zach Johnson added Justin Thomas to create that little link camaraderie wise. But we have individuals, and they are always all about the team. That's why I root for that.
People were absolutely hammering Zach Johnson for picking Justin Thomas. I mean, around the golf world, all of these golf sophisticates.
I think every player on his team backed that choice, though, and I think that could be kind of the glue that links them together.
Good guy. Right, I mean, it's hard to imagine he had such a lousy year. He really, talk about no pun intended. Talk about a subpar season. That was Justin Thomas.
Yep.
No, he was rarely subpar. That was the problem. He was usually shooting like an 81 in the first round. Yeah,
he had an above par season. Then you mean?
Yes,
Okay.
highly above par. All right, here we go.
Golf. This journeyman PGA pro, after a lackluster third round, asked by a reporter before the final round what he needed to shoot to win the tournament tomorrow. He said, probably the rest of the field. What's that? Roger Maltby, Roger Moore, Clayton Moore, or no more?
I roll in the scrambler here, and our next contestant is going to be Pat to round it out. Pat, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Good morning, sir.
Hey guys. A
is correct.
Pat.
Hey, is a strike close to over here? I mean, they got the writers back. Auto workers are getting closer.
No, we're still going. Yeah, well, we're still
Tag
trying.
after. Yeah, all right. Let's hope you get it together.
The writers
Very nice.
are on.
Yes.
The writers are
So
good.
the
the
writers
writers are
are
back.
signed, right? I saw something yesterday that it was like ending. That's interesting.
Yeah, that was the
Well,
writers.
no,
deal.
they're finally bringing the big people to the table, which they haven't. Which,
Okay.
I'm rooting for the actors. Yep.
Good place.
All right, Pat. True or false?
Thanks, Dave.
Football. Soon to be Wheel of Fortune host Ryan Seacrest, believe it or not, was quite a football player in high school as a defensive back, leading his high school team to the AAA championship in 1993. True or false?
93. I'll take a wild guess and say true.
Ryan.
Yeah.
True.
True.
Seacrest.
True.
Football.
Yep. He was a defensive back in football. Yep.
What?
Next, you're going to tell me that Pat Sajak was a better quarterback than Pat Hayden?
He's like my height.
No, he was a shortstop. He was a no-hit shortstop. No, that's it.
Wow, that's amazing. Good for him.
All right, pretty incredible there, Gurgles. Nice dig there. 2 for 2, and good call by Pat
Yeah, Pat.
to bank on the
All
absurd,
right,
which
Pat,
is
another
what this
one.
game is all about.
Another Ryder Cup question for you, Pat. Which major champion has played in the most Ryder Cups without ever having won a singles match? Only the singles match, the last days. Jordan Spieth, Ian Woosman, Bubba Watson, or Darren Clark?
Got a lot of mileage on this Ryder Cup.
Watson.
No, believe it
What?
or not, Justin Thomas's good buddy, Jordan Spieth, has never won a singles match in Ryder Cup history.
All right. Very good.
5-pointer?
Going for
2 going for 7.
question for 7.
As we'll
All right,
put you in
let's
the
take
lead
you
in the
one to
finals.
another last game played in question. The last game played at Old Shea Stadium before its demolition
Yeah.
happened when the New York Mets lost their final game 4-2. Who was the team that beat them that day? Was it the Florida Marlins, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Atlanta Braves, or the Cincinnati Reds?
Let's go with the Phillies.
I'm going to say the
No,
Marlins.
It was our own Florida Marlins, 2008. Absolutely.
All right, Pat. Well, thanks for
Well,
playing.
they need to win one against the very same Mets today.
Yes.
Everything's right on that.
Yes, yes.
All right, Pat, thanks for playing the game. So we're going to match up Andy and the Chronic. Andy and the Chronic. Lenny versus Andy. And Libby's going to set that up. We'll come back and contest the finals of today's edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge in a moment with Dave Gurgles Gurley. Now that.
The time.
9:09. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Codsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Codsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Francois Lebec. Good morning, Francois.
Listen to me one moment, please. You fat ass. Tired of the way you speak about the Canadians? We are good people. We're here vacationing on the beach. We bring our dollars here, and you're always putting down the Canadians. And me, personally, is sick and tired of your crap. And you're not losing weight. I saw you the game. You're fat like a pig. The other thing that I would like to say is that you're going to throw out some baseball. I will be there personally to boo you out of the stadium. We come here as good people, friendly people, nice people. We don't need you to speak like you speak, Jeffrey, the fat ass DeForest.
The Defo Show, featuring Lubie. We now return to the Defo Show.
Classic, as was this. I'm sitting at the airport there, sucking down a cocktail, getting ready to go to Atlantic City. This was this past Wednesday in the afternoon. Spirit Airlines flight is marked to be on time, and there actually is, what we think is a plane at the hangar. And about getting ready to board, and I look across the bar there as I'm going to pay my tab, and I see somebody that looks bizarrely like Jersey Kyle Martinez. And I don't immediately recognize him because he had a shirt on with sleeves, but then I realized he is no longer fighting unattached. And that the woman in his life would not allow him to travel with his normal jet shirt with the cut-off sleeves and that soiled jet bag that he used to keep his stuff in. I mean, he's got like an actual legitimate leather, very, very sharp-looking carrying bag.
Jersey?
Jersey fucking Kyle.
What the fuck?
So at first I didn't recognize him. Maybe he thought I was like blowing him off, but it turned out he was on the very same flight, which was kind of interesting. Yeah,
You didn't know that he was going up to AC.
well, he actually wasn't going to Atlantic City. He flew in there to go somewhere else.
Okay.
But I would imagine the temptation was very, very, very strong, and maybe even solidified by the fact that I was also going to be there, and there would be company at the Borgata Racebook. But you had to think that the woman, in this case, the lovely Karen, was the one that was kind of directing him to another destination. A lot of people going to funerals up there, man. Funerals and weddings, big in New Jersey. It's crazy. Everybody you talk to is either going to a funeral or a wedding. Does anybody travel there for any other reason? I mean, to go pick tomatoes or anything? I mean, what the hell? Jersey Shore is always big, but the season's over. All right, we're ready for the finals. We have the Chronic and Andy, two of our favorite players. And I appreciate you guys participating on a regular basis like you do, even though we've been kind of intermittent with the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge the last several weeks due to a personnel shakeup here on the program. So here's what's going to happen. Dave's going to fire off a question, call out your name if you'd like to answer. If nobody answers right away, we'll offer multiple choice. The first person to call out his name gets first choice. We go back and forth until we have a winner for the championship of this week's edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Here's Dave Gurgles Gurgley.
Good luck, guys. In memoriam for the late, great Brooks Robinson, a baseball question.
Very
In
good.
1964, Brooks had perhaps his best season offensively, hitting .317, 28 home runs, 118 RBIs, and won the American League MVP. Finishing second in that race was the great Mickey Mantle. What we want to know is who finished third in 64.
Boy, you're going deep.
Was it? Yeah. Was it Tony Oliva, Elston Howard, Bill Freehand, or Harmon Killebrew?
This was what year again, Gurgs? 70 or
64.
64. 64.
Andy. Andy. I'll go with Killer. I'll go with Killebrew.
Killebrew.
I'll go with
Killebrew, who is the logo for baseball, but no, that was not him.
All right. 3 left for Lenny.
Yep. And this is Lenny's strategy. He usually lets them get one wrong.
Yeah.
Lenny, was it Tony Oliva, Elston Howard, or Bill Freehand?
Lenny deferring to the second half.
Elston Howard.
Elston. Correct.
Yeah.
Was that the year he hit like 360?
And almost won it again in 64.
Yeah, no, Elston
And
Howard was a hell of a player.
didn't he invented the donut, too, for baseball, for the bat.
Made a lot of money on that, right? Probably more than he did as a Yankee. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe maybe he got screwed. Did he sell the rights to Ron Popeil or something?
That part I don't know. Yep.
Popeil was like the biggest inventor of that era. It was incredible. I mean, the number of things that he came up with that now you would consider to be totally, outdated and lame. All right. Thank you, David. Where are you off to again? Where can people find you? You're going to be out and about there with the Beat the
Tomorrow I'll
Broadcaster.
be at Doral, and then Monday there's still room in the Martini Golf Classic. You can call our friend Doris at 954-240-4853 if you want in. And we're open here. Front nine's open in really good shape. Next Friday's our breast cancer tournament. We've got a bunch of events coming up. But come on out and play Miami Lakes Golf Club. Say hello to us. Say hello to the gang here. And it was great seeing your version of the Mount Rushmore of broadcasting with you, Mike Mayo, Tony Segretto, and the great highlight player.
Joey Cornblit.
Yep.
What an assemblage. Yes.
That was great. Yep.
Yeah, Joey's
Yeah, that was a
terrific. People don't realize how influential he was in the athletic world here in South Florida. When highlight, I mean, it wasn't mainstream, but people were well aware of what was going on.
Oh wow!
I think, unless it was just me and my degenerate friends, but it wasn't uncommon to see 10,000 people out there on a Friday and a Saturday night, and the place was rocking. And both of the places, although Dania's, I think, was a little bit better than Miami's restaurant, but both of the places, you could really have a nice evening out there, betting your brains out, and you could bring a chick. It wasn't like taking her to the horses. Yeah, where if she doesn't have any interest in animals, she's
And of
completely
course,
disinterested.
Miami highlight is where the great happened with the late great Coach Shula, where the people were yelling Chula to have that shot. And he stood up and waved to the crowd thinking it was all about him. We remember that. And tonight it'll all be about the Professor and Lubie. So make sure you go to Landlubbers tonight for what a great show they put on.
All right, good job, Dave Gurgly. Thanks as always.
Next week,
hopefully we'll
same
see
time.
you out there. Yeah, we'll see you out there on your perch at the track maybe tomorrow. Is that possible? Oh no, you're busy.
Oh
tomorrow.
no, I'll be at
Doral.
busy tomorrow.
Okay.
See you guys.
All right, thanks a lot. Dave Gurgly, ladies and gentlemen. Why am I moving the mouse on my computer as if I was going to do something here? Okay.
I'd love for you to try it. That's fine.
How useless am I on this end of things when it comes to any kind of technology? All right, we're coming back with more. Later on today, Gilbert's is where we'll be with Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Good time yesterday, even Keel Fish Shack. They had some nice food, huh? You did get to try that lobster biscuit. It was a very interesting treatment.
It was good, and they had like some kind of a salad on the bottom of it with like peppers and other things.
That lobster bite plate that was very nice.
Lobster bites were nice. We love the grilled oysters.
Yes.
We always enjoy everything we do at Even Keel, and Gilbert's is one of those places.
Gilbert's is great, man.
They just like to slaughter us. They just literally keep bringing stuff out where you're like, there's three of us.
Well, I mean, you're looking at like just an unbelievable, a monumental collection of food.
And then they bring the dessert.
And then they bring like a slab of ribs on top of that. Yeah,
then desserts instead. It's like, oh, okay, we'll try some of your cookies or a pie.
Yeah.
Okay. And they bring out the whole dessert case.
Yeah, it's like they wheeled out the cart there at Tropical Acres. Which I always like that touch, the dessert cart. No?
Yeah, I like that. People.
Or are you intimidated by a dessert cart?
No, it gives you choices. I like choices. I'm one that likes to try different stuff. So like
in this way, the guy doesn't have to stand there and go, well, we got the carrot cake. I don't know. That's made with carrots. Is there cream cheese in there? I don't know. I'll have to go back into the kitchen and ask.
Exactly.
The fuck? Cream cheese. No, but they're great. You know what, though? I think, and this is good. We have to applaud Mayo. He seems to be trying or attempting to. I don't know if he's, just manufacturing, the fact that he's been disciplined. But, you hear him, he's eating fish.
No, he's eating healthy. I mean, even yesterday.
Salads.
You and I got after it a lot more than he did. I think he had one of the lobster bites. He didn't have any of the oysters.
Yeah.
And he had his soup. I don't think he finished his soup.
And he was going to join a gym.
And he was going to the gym after. He was in like literal clothes. All right,
I thought he was lining up with Messi, in his place for Inter Miami CF. And to tell you the truth, if they threw Mayo out there, I wouldn't know if he wasn't on the team. That'd be great. Anyway, we applaud this. I mean, this is great. So I think he's going to try that. They have a wide variety, and they always they look interesting on the menu. The these salads they have there. Although, I mean, they're known for their burgers and probably put out. I mean, you could easily say, I don't know. I mean, people have their personal favorites, but as good a burger as anybody.
That burger's great.
Yeah, I mean, it could be your top choice and has been voted as such by many different surveys that have been taken by various organizations, and they come up with Gilbert's as having the best burger in town. So I will be there later on today. That's on 17th Street.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just off 17th Street, like in one of those little
nice
pretty much just off Federal Highway. Yeah, so it's great. I take a nice drive down there. I go A1A all the way down there, even though it's maybe. I might not be quite as quick, but you see the scenery and you're thinking, nice to live here in South Florida, rain or shine. We're going to come back and take up till about 9:45 today. That's our new time here on the program. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm glad you guys are making the adjustment, as are we. Having a good time with you. Many things still. I mean, we haven't really let Lubie tee off on this. I think you were rather subdued.
Well, that's where I'm at with this thing.
On the Damian Lillard trade. I mean, you should be flaming mad. No, I mean, this Joe Cronin guy fucked you, essentially.
Look, I'm not mad at either angle. The only person I've gone at it with is Ken, and he's actually a Heat fan, but he can't stand Riley. So, because
I think so, it was Riley's fault.
Yes, yeah. Well, he said that in his mind, and he'll talk tomorrow. He can talk for himself. The Heat failed, and anyone who's trying to say that they didn't fail is just a Riley apologist. And I'm like, yeah, but aren't you a Riley hater to go the other way to watch?
Yeah.
There's been months of reports.
I mean, you would think Ben Affleck was in the front office there advising Riley.
People have been for months saying how Cronin's not working with the Heat. Like, am I lying about that? Am I just making it up? Maybe I am. I follow people more than just Heat cover guys. Like,
Damian Lillard, though, didn't seem to have a problem, after his desired destination was the Miami Heat. And he said, he kind of made it sound like that was the only place he wanted to be traded to. And now you're with Antetokounmpo, and you can't feel too badly about that, even though Drew Holiday, a lot of NBA players have mad respect for Drew Holiday.
He's a nice player, but he's not the centerpiece of a fucking Damian Lillard. Like, that's my problem is you hate Hero, but the dude's like 10 years fucking younger, is already locked in for 4 years. That's going to be a steal in 2 years. And he can do a lot more than Holiday does at this point of his career. Like, come on. Like, that's my thing with the whole, maybe the Heat lowballed him, whatever, fine. You hate Riley so much that that's all you can see here. Okay.
But Riley seemed to, I mean,
they wanted
I can't speak for him, obviously, but, all sentiment was that this was the sole focus of the Miami Heat.
Yes.
That they would do anything and go to any extent that they possibly could. To acquire Damian Lillard from Portland, and that it was a foregone conclusion. I mean, Jimmy Butler's calling for an investigation.
Well, no, I mean, I think they're look. I think if the Heat got Lillard, for sure they would have gotten fucked. Like, there would have been a whole thing on the Heat, which we've seen many a time. Well, it's a Heat conspiracy. No, we've seen multiple times the Heat get fucked. Like, all the way back to Juwan Howard, which to this day,
that turned out to be very fortunate.
It worked out for them, but I'm saying in the moment, there's been like 3 or 4 times where the Heat have gotten investigated.
Remember the Riley quote where he thought he had like a pole vault apparatus shoved up his ass by David Stern? That was graphic. I mean, I'm me. I mean, we consider Riley among the untouchables.
I'm not to your place with Riley. I'm not.
When Pat Riley personalized a video for our 10th anniversary on the radio.
He did.
I mean, come on. How could you not then, reciprocate by just outright, idolic worship for the guy?
And that's the thing. Ken's thing is you can love Riley all you want. He has had plenty.
It's not like he hasn't made mistakes, though. I mean, he completely blew it there. He had them absolutely stifled, snookered. But when he rewarded that team that was so great in the second half of the season after going 11-30. In the first half, and then they turned it around, and it turned out, with Deion Waiters and who was the other guy, Johnson. They had like a couple of Johnsons. Who was the big Johnson?
Whiteside, James Johnson, Tyler Johnson.
Hassan Whiteside. I mean, they gave him all this money. All of these guys.
All 4 of those guys got deals, and none of them deserved
My God, yeah. I mean, that was the kind of blunder that you would expect from Brian Cashman. and then you're asking the question: how does he keep his job?
Well, the thing is, he recovered from it. That's where I'm at with this. Is I wanted with Lillard. I would like to have had Lillard. I also like the team they have, and I do feel like they're going to pivot and do something else.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with. That's why I'm not totally losing it. And what sucks is that he went to the Bucks for nothing. Like the Bucks gave up an old dude that they don't need now since you have Lillard, and that's all they gave up. And a pick from 6 years from like the Bucks gave up. Everyone bitched about the Heat's offerings. What the Bucks gave up was less than the Heat.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're trading for a first round pick, it could turn out to be a franchise foundation where you get some generational player. I mean, on the off chance, I mean, 5 years from now, are the Bucks still going to be great? We don't know, right?
He were supposedly going to give up 3 firsts. 3. He were going to give up 3 firsts, and they're going to suck in 3 years. Like all these guys are going to age out. Like the Bucks are younger. Giannis is in his late 20s. The Bucks have a better chance of being good for long term than the Heat. The Heat's
who could even think about that, though? I mean, literally, it's like getting an IOU from a guy that you know is going to stiff you.
That's my thing.
Where by the time it comes around, you're like, oh yeah, remember that? We traded for that first round pick. That was I mean, it wasn't exactly a windfall. I saw somebody that was grading this and said it was a win-win-win.
How the Bucks have already come out and said, not the Bucks, the Blazers have already come out and said they're trading Holiday because he doesn't fit. So what'd you get from the Bucks? Like, what did you? And what do you?
Well, I mean, whatever they get for Holiday, who probably is a reasonably worthwhile commodity.
Okay.
At least in the opinion of many. A lot of players love this guy. I mean, defensively, he supposedly is excellent.
I think Holiday would be great for the Heat.
Yeah,
either fifth.
He's not my favorite scorer. I mean, he can score, but he's not the kind of reliable scorer. I guess you need somebody else with Holiday. You're not going to be able to do it with like 2 guys with Holiday and Antetokounmpo. That wouldn't have worked. And they had Middleton, and he probably wasn't as good this year as he's been in previous seasons. But he was the perfect complement to those 2 guys, right? You have a tall defensive guard who's capable of scoring, and then you have Middleton who can shoot. With Antetokounmpo, who is virtually unstoppable, especially since they allow him to take 17 steps to the basket, which there will be a play where he gets the inbound pass at his own baseline.
Just goes.
And dunks without dribbling the basketball. No whistle. The NBA is crazy like that. NBA players and all of the steam is that the NBA always creates the juice, is the liveliest of all leagues and the most fun to follow because of all of these dramatic things that you dive into. I see. I don't know that I had any great level of certainty that Miami was going to get Damian Lillard because it seemed so obvious, and this is the NBA, and that it rarely happens that way, right?
Yeah,
rarely, right? At least he didn't sit down with Jim Gray and go to the Bucks.
No. Look,
and say, you know what I'm doing? I'm taking my talents to the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, to the Midwest.
The Midwest, the suck-ass city like Milwaukee.
Well, it's funny. Look, I'm not mad. Of course, he's not going to ask out of Milwaukee. That's the thing. He only wanted to go to Miami because all the other places that they brought up were bullshit. Like, the idea was a contender didn't have enough to entice a rebuilding club. Yeah. And then also want to pay the $200 million to Older Lillard. That's why it was only the Heat. It wasn't that, well, the Heat were the greatest ever. It was because the Heat had a combination of young talent that a rebuilding team would want, draft picks that a rebuilding team would want, and were willing to spend that stupid-ass money. Because it's a dumbass contract, and I like Lillard, but in 2 years, he's not going to be the same dude. So the
$60 million for a guy who's going to be 36 or something.
It's going to be 120. It's 2 years at $60 million when he's going to be 36 and 37. Like, I own it. In 2 years, the deal is going to be horrendous, but it's fine. I want Butler to get a title, so I was willing as a fan to say, fuck it, just go for it, be bitter in 2 years, whatever. Like, the Bucks didn't give anything. They gave up Holiday, who's an old dude, on a bad deal, and I don't know, what, Allen? Like, what the Bucks?
Grayson Allen, man, that's your favorite player.
To me, you can't. For the last 2 months, we've heard
a couple of other guys that I wasn't that familiar with also.
They're going to do nothing on that team. It was a throw-in trade.
Set Nurkic?
Nurkic was the Blazers throw-in because he's on a horrible deal and he's always hurt. So the Suns have to take that contract to get rid of their shitty contract.
Nasir Little, Keon Johnson.
None of these guys
I mean, it's not like you were looking at this and thinking, gigantic blockbuster. I mean, we all know that they hated DeAndre Ayton.
Yes.
In Phoenix, that they thought that he was one of the reasons, that they were floundering. Although I kind of liked Ayton. I don't know what happened there. Did he become some kind of airheaded goofball or something. He seemed like a very effective player 2 years ago. Anyway,
He's a good. It's like Carl
then he sat him in the finals. Remember that?
He's
Or
a
whatever
good regular season. He doesn't fit in this NBA. He's a good regular season player. He doesn't play defense really at all, let alone doing the switching stuff that the guys like Bam can do.
Yeah.
And his offensive game is limited. Like, he's an athletic dude that can dunk and make.
Yeah, he gets
around the
garbage stuff. Yeah.
He's not making 15 to 20 footers. So literally, once you get to the playoffs, he doesn't fit. So, like, he may work for a young Portland team for a year or two, but when they want to be a contender, Aiden doesn't work. And that's why the Suns were like, fuck. Like, what do we do with him? He doesn't work with this team.
What was the Suns coach? Was with Detroit. Monty Williams, was that the guy?
Is he with Detroit?
Monty something.
Yeah,
he got like a huge. He got canned in Phoenix, and then Detroit's paying him like $10 million a year.
He's legit. He's a good coach.
All right, we'll have to get with Grant Long and see what he thinks about some of this stuff on the program, because always has a great perspective on baskets for us, and maybe we can even get a laugh out of Howard Beck. That would be, I don't know. We got it one time, and that was it. We're going to come back with more in a moment. We'll wrap things up. I'll be with you till about 9:45 this morning. NoFilter.net. We do a little thing on there called the Morning Briefing, and that it gets on the way about 10 o'clock. Maybe even a little bit sooner, as we are finding our way through this new format ourselves, Lubie. Even I am now doing the morning walk of one Skippy Q dog.
There you go.
Who enjoys getting out there a little bit earlier, because the Mustang not exactly an early riser.
Well, she works at a bar at a lot.
Yeah, well, she was working last night. Yeah, she came in about 1:30. She always makes sure that she wakes me up. Which is another reason that I'm glad we're starting later, because you finally fall asleep, and then all of a sudden, hey, I'm home. It's like, great, man. I mean, you can't talk to me tomorrow. All right, back with more in a moment. Now that. Does it sound like the indifference is set in, Lubie? I mean, you're not there yet, man. You're still off on world travels. I see you romantically, holding hands at dinner. It'll end. You'll be reading the Post. Why do you think I get this delivered? Hey, look at that. Well, I'm saying Missouri's getting 6 points from Wichita State. No, not basketball. Football. All right, back in a moment. Now that. 9:33.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously. Friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
I've sinned against you, my Lord.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Welcome back to the show. Glad you guys are with us here around the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, one Mike Lubitz. And, the thing that is on tap here that we haven't even really addressed yet, I guess we'll get into it a little bit more from certainly a betting analysis standpoint tomorrow, the Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, big game.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of stuff happening here that's of major importance. I will be, as I said yesterday, extremely deflated before we get into this Dolphins-Bills game if the Marlins don't make the postseason right now.
It sucks because it actually lines up for a team that struggled this second half or second part of the season. It sets up really nice for them. They're actually tied for the last spot right now, and they play the Mets and Pirates that have nothing to play for, literally nothing to play for.
Mets gave it a go yesterday, though. Lindor was on fire yesterday in the doubleheader, and the Marlins did salvage that second game. They were screaming, and the story goes that the Mets did not put the tarp on the field on Saturday, and there were remnants. I don't know how badly New York was impacted by this, but I will say that in Atlantic City, where they were gearing up as if this was going to be Hurricane Andrew, this Ophelia did dump a significant amount of rain on the area and had its impact in terms of high winds and such, which wouldn't have been anything that necessarily would have overwhelmingly affected the field at City Field. But they left a tarp off on Saturday and it didn't dry out. So, and I guess the rain hung around that New York area from this Ophelia. Ophelia. No, that was Cecilia, right? The Paul Simon song, Ophelia. That's all I kept hearing in my head as they were going over and over, how intense this storm was going to be. But apparently, and Steve Cohen was apologizing, the owner of the Mets. This was an horrendous development with a team that's pitching strapped right now, as the Marlins are down to 4 starters in the rotation. Sandy Alcantara, who was going to make a comeback. Remember we were talking about Tommy Hutton, and they had actually posted a graphic in the game that he did the night before and said that Alcantara was sort of on the verge of making a return to the rotation, possibly. And instead, he had another setback, and that was it, gone for the season. Did I see somewhere that there was speculation that whatever it is that is impairing Sandy Alcantara right now might even impact his ability next season? Am I pushing a panic button?
I haven't heard that, but I mean, it is the end of the year, so I guess. It's just,
think about it, though. This is monumental, Lubie. I mean, there are 4 games to go in the regular season, and the Marlins are actually right now, as of this moment, in a dead heat with the Cubs, been in a controlling position. The Cubs finish up their season against the Braves, who have nothing to play for, but seem to play with the kind of zeal. There's a word for you.
There you go.
The kind of zest for life, the joie de vivre. They seem to play with the kind of enthusiasm, at least the last couple of games, that is not normally indicative of a team that has everything under wraps. Now, they have some schmink pitcher going for them today that I have no familiarity with whatsoever. So maybe they're diving into their minor leaguers to see what they can do. And yet, let's see, Cubs Braves. Yeah, the Braves hadn't announced a pitcher. They had like Oscar De La Hoya listed as their starter today. The boxer, not some guy that just got called up after pitching in Panama. So the Cubs, I mean, are in tough, right? Another game against the Braves,
Yes.
and they finish up against Milwaukee, who also has everything under wraps.
Well, so that's the thing is what's funny is the teams that have nothing to play for, but can do the spoiler role a lot of the times bring a lot more to the table than the teams that have clinched.
Yes, Mets were tough yesterday.
They don't want to get anyone hurt. They don't want to take any chances, even though, as you talked about with the Colts, a lot of the time, those teams that just tap out for a fucking 2 weeks
yes,
to get it going again. When with sports, with how often injuries happen in every sport now, that has to be front of mind. These other teams don't give a shit if someone gets hurt. Like they have nothing to play for. They just want to finish strong and have some momentum going into next year, so they can be the scariest team sometimes.
It didn't appear the Braves with Acuna. I mean, with that big celebration they had, becomes the first man in baseball history. Which you take into account baseball history, Lubie. This is a history that it's not like a recent development. This goes back into the 1800s.
80s.
First guy ever to hit 40 home runs and steal 70 bases in the same season.
He stole 70 bases. See
in an era where the stolen bases come back a little bit this year with the new rules or whatever.
People like us who hate them enforcing rules that actually help the game, because it is annoying that you have to. It's annoying that you can't teach hitters to just hit the fucking all fields and make teams not do a shift. It worked out. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it changed the game a lot. The fact that stolen bases matter again is huge.
Well, and the time of game, I think, has definitely been an asset to your ability to watch entire baseball games, or at least great portions of them.
Yeah.
Where, you're not flipping away and just bored to tears. The strikeouts are still, too many. To sit there and say that they've fixed everything. I don't know what you can do about it. I mean, watching this guy Senga, who was 11 years in Japanese baseball, pitched for the Mets last night. He's had a great season. Would he be? I mean, is he a surefire rookie of the year? There was some conversation about that on the broadcast about whether there would be a certain negativity about the idea that he wasn't really so much of a rookie because he was like 11 years in pro ball in Japan. But you'd have to think that I mean, this is a superior version overall of baseball. Otherwise, what's he doing in Japan for 11 years? What was he not allowed to leave or something? I don't know.
I don't think about that. I'm sure he was in.
Senga with that ghost ball, that fork ball that he throws, and he brings it at about 96 to 98 with his. I mean, I don't know. Is it a two seamer, a four seamer, whatever seamer that he's throwing? They do make a big distinction out of that, huh? Can you tell the difference? A guy throws a two seam or a four seam fastball. Doesn't it seem like the guy would just put the ball in the palm of his hand if he was throwing a four seamer, like he was throwing the old palm ball? You don't hear about that pitch too much anymore. The palm ball. Who was an advocate of the palm ball? There was some pitcher that was known for that. I don't know exactly what it did or didn't do, but this guy had wicked stuff. This Senga. So the Mets posed a serious threat there in that second game yesterday. The Marlins good to come up with a win. 3 against the Pirates, 1 more against the Mets. That's tonight. 4 games left regular season. What more can you ask for, Lubie? Dead heat with the tiebreaker over both of the teams that they're that they're chasing. All right.
They just have to win out. That's the only way you ensure it. That's the problem. Is this team like Sarnia?
Win the rest of your games, and you are in the postseason with a bunch of baseball bag ladies. Unreal.
They make it going 2-2, and it's like they're going 2-2, which would be so annoying. It's like you have it after all this shit. People like me wrote you off a month ago, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, this weekend. Like you are still there. You found a way to
still there
to hang around.
Yeah.
Muster some shit. Muster it up, goddammit. Like, come on, let's finish with a bang and get into the playoffs. Even if you lose, I don't give a shit. Just get there. Like, it'd be so cool to get there.
Oh, my God. That would be awesome. All right. So we have that. And then the Dolphins and the Bills, a huge ball game coming up on Sunday. We'll get into that a little bit more tomorrow on the program with the Degenerate Friday. I think the usual suspects are all lined up and ready to go, although the Greek may be suspect now with the 8 o'clock post.
I'm going to have to talk to him, see if he can do 8:20. I don't know. I know he does. He has his own show at 9.
Yeah, he may be in heavy show preparation, which would be what? Back in the day when we were doing nights and we used to run out to the parking lot, smoke 3 joints, and come back upstairs.
That's not the Greek show prep.
Those were the days, Lubie, weren't they? We go downstairs. Everybody knew what we were doing, right? We're on camera. And they didn't give a shit. It was great. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow on the Defo Show, nofilter.net. That's going all day long, so you can catch the morning briefing there, even if you're catching it in the early evening. And then Mike Mayo's Lunchbox from Gilbert's on just off 17th Street.
Yes, sir.
I think it's Cordova is the actual street. It's in that plaza. Just go in there and make a right, make a right. You're at Gilbert's, a great, great place. Best burgers in town. Or among them, anyway. I mean, you can easily make that claim and not be questioned. And all kinds of variety, other things that are on the menu there. Going to be interesting to see Mayo order a salad there. What do you think, Lubie? I mean,
I'm sort of looking forward to it in a sense because Gilbert does everything so well. I'm curious about the salads. I just have to get there early to make sure he doesn't ruin it for you and I.
Yes.
I do like trying other things than just salads because he gets in these kicks and it's like these people want to make him happy, so they just do whatever the fuck he wants, and it's like, no,
it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Like, why should the others have to suffer because you're on some bizarre kick? Which, as we know, I mean, let's hope this one sticks. But
yeah, we'll see.
It's been some very short-lived efforts there on the part of one Michael Q. Mayo. All right, we'll see you later on, all over the place, as we leave you on that.
The time.
9:44.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.